Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Muertero Chris here. Welcome to the channel, The Guard Owl. I know it's been probably about a month since I put anything out, really. But I'm okay. Everything's going good. Keeping on top of my health. I hope all of y'all are keeping on top of your health with the COVID-19 thing going on. Um, like, share, and subscribe as usual with any YouTuber that's on here. It's the typical thing. I don't even think anybody needs to do it anymore. You already know if you're a viewer of YouTube content creators, you just like, share, and subscribe. I recently had a very amazing interview with Shaman Moon. All right, so for any of you out there that don't know who Shaman Moon is, Shaman Moon has his own channel. It is Shaman Moon, one word. He is a medium, psychic. He does a lot of spiritual trabajos. He does tarot card readings. So go ahead and check out his channel. And I'm going to go ahead and link up the interview down in the description box down below so that you all can go ahead and check out the interview that we had about few days ago, about a week ago by now. It was an amazing interview. I had a lot of fun being interviewed by Shaman Moon. It was just a lot of fun. It was just a lot of fun. So if you missed it, go down into the description box down below. Click on that link and check it out. It's about a 2-hour long video. So if you don't have anything else to do, or maybe you're cleaning house and you want something to be playing in the background, that would be the kind of thing to kind of do it. But yeah. So anyway, it's been about a month since I put anything out, right? So I just want to let you all know I'm doing well. I'm very healthy. Everything's going good. Recently, I'm not going to drop any names, but I fostered some Santísima Muerte statues. And let me tell you something. It doesn't happen maybe with a lot of us muerteros or muerteras, especially muertistas out here in the Santísima Muerte communities on YouTube, at least none that I've ever seen, where people accept other people's statues because for this reason or that reason or another, they just may not be able to have them there anymore. And you may have to, be asked or even to offer to, foster some Santísima Muerte statues. So what this video is all about is disclaimer. Hardcore disclaimers about fostering Santísima Muerte statues from other muertistas and muerteros and muerteras. Even from curanderos and curanderas, from all aspects in the likes of this particular tradition of spiritual healers, brujos, brujas, Wiccans, pagans. I mean, you name it, man. Because it seems nowadays just about almost everybody in all the spiritual communities from this path or that path are starting to come into contact with La Santísima Muerte, especially icons or effigies or statues of her. And when we work with the statues, it really does come down to that. The practice of La Santísima Muerte, even if it's a prayer card, it always comes down to having some kind of icon of La Santísima Muerte to work with. And she's not the first one. There's lots of them. There's Saint Jude, there's Jesus Christ, there's La Virgen de Guadalupe, there is, it just goes on and on and on. There's Fatima, there's all these, santos or saints from the Roman Catholic tradition, and most especially in the Roman Catholic folk saint tradition as well, which is where La Santísima Muerte falls into. But what I'm trying to talk about is when you accept an effigy or an icon or a statue, something that is from your own fleshy eyes to what's in front of you, something tangible, something that literally you can see. And if it has a life of itself, spiritually speaking, it can see you as well. So that's where the connection is at. But when you foster certain effigies, one must be careful. Case in point. So I fostered a few statues, and I got to be honest with you, as soon as we got these statues in, everything seemed to be okay, but then really quickly things got to be very fiery, and was almost an onslaught of like, where the fuck am I? Why am I here? Who are you? And all. And it doesn't mean to say that La Santísima Muerte doesn't know who we all are. But what I'm talking about in specific is the energies, because there's a big difference between having an icon of La Santísima Muerte, but then your own energy. And when you're working with this icon of La Santísima Muerte and all of it that it absorbs, it's just like your home, the four walls that you live in, they absorb your energy, the way you cook, the way you clean, certain fragrances that you use. Your home smells a certain way. It feels a certain way. It is a certain way. And so, same in the end, these effigies, these icons of La Santísima Muerte also work in the same vein. So just because La Santísima Muerte is a certain way with us, that's fine. But we also got to take into consideration that we are putting our energies into these effigies, into these icons, into these statues, into these prayer cards. And so when we pass them on to somebody else, for maybe somebody that may not know any better, you may want to tell them, hey, go ahead and cleanse it off in whatever way you want to, but just don't pass it off to somebody else and just be like, oh, here, just for you and because your energies are on there. It's the same reason why a lot of us go out to the botanicas, to the yerberias, and we may touch certain things, we may pick up certain things like, like some soaps or this or that, put them to our face and smell them a little bit or whatever. But other people have done that too, and we don't know through their fleshy hands and through their body oils, these things get imprinted. It's what we call imprints. And then, so when we come back home, then all of a sudden everything is going all haywire and we don't understand why. So it's important to, always cleanse ourselves with not just sage or sage, spiritual smoke, which would be sage or sage, but also agua florida or Florida water. And even homemade Florida waters, there's different Florida waters. It's not just the ones that you get at the store. There's a plethora of Florida waters, and the best ones is when you make it yourself at home, okay? And that's just being honest, it's very easy to go out to the store and buy that Lamon's Florida water and consecrate and do whatever you want to do. But realistically and ritualistically, the best type of Florida water or flowered water is when you make it yourself, and you take the time out. Anyway, so getting back to what I was talking about, so I fostered these statues, and things got a little hectic, things got a little heavy, and so repercussions are being, worked out. It's all about energies, it's all about understanding, it's all about trying to figure out the right way to go about things, and what is the right approach. And that, I think in saying that, I think that says a lot about spiritual practice in general. It doesn't matter from what you come from, whether it's Wiccan or this or that or La Santísima. It doesn't matter. It's all about approach. You know, approach things correct, and don't be lazy. Um, you know, and also when it comes to speaking about that, don't be lazy. That means, you know, pay attention to the atmosphere. Because if not, you may have to suffer repercussions, um, or maybe not even suffer repercussions, but deal with repercussions. If you don't cleanse things right from the very get go, certain things that come along with these effigies may get very comfortable, and you know, I've almost, you know, here we go, like a muerto coming back with us from, you know, from the cemetery. You know, even when you go to, you know, a funeral for a loved one or somebody that you knew of a family friend, and you go to the funeral. Yes, you go to the funeral, and you inter somebody, and when you inter that person, then when you come back home, you know, you kind of cleanse off a bit, and you do whatever, and then you go down to, you know, a person's house and bring food or whatever. But you always kind of cleanse off a little bit, because you never know what's going to come back with you, because death energy is very much like that. Death energy is very clingy. And case in point, La Santísima Muerte's death energy is also very clingy. And that's part of the reason why a lot of people find so much faith in her, why they feel a connection with her. Because let's face it, if you were dead and, you know, somebody around in your vicinity, you as a spirit, was trying to work with the dead, would you not kind of gravitate towards that? You know, because there's that even exchange, you know, there's that 1 + 1 to make the 2. And so, case in point, we have to be very, very careful with what we bring into our lives, how we bring certain things into our lives, especially when it comes down to the spiritual, including iconography, you know, prayer cards, and it's not just of La Santísima Muerte, it's of any saint, because let's be honest here, anytime you work with a Roman Catholic saint, or even a Roman Catholic folk saint, they're all dead. They're all dead. So you want to work with St. Jude? Well, the only way that St. Jude could have become a saint, you know, regardless of however he did things in his life, the major thing is that St. Jude has to die. There's no way that a Roman Catholic saint can become saint or sanctified through the Roman Catholic Church unless he succumbs to death. And that's the end result of things, and that's how one becomes saint through the Roman Catholic Church, aside from the dues that they paid throughout their whole entire life structure, right? But at the end, that's what it comes down to. Did they die? Are they dealing with death? Are they death? Did they succumb to death? The experience of death. It's all about death. All right? You know, St. Francis, same thing. Succumbed to death. It really doesn't matter so many things that they did. I mean, it's the reason why we know so many different saints by their attributes. And okay, so this saint for that, and that saint for this. And then if you want to take it a step further, then you can go into, you know, Haitian voodoo or American Louisiana voodoo, and you know, put things into perspective in that sense. But it always comes down to death. You know what I'm saying? And case in point too, now that, you know, I'm talking about it, I'm thinking about it at the same time, it's exactly what our life's detriment is all about. It's about death. You know, from the moment that we're born out of our mother's wombs, the clock starts ticking, and we are basically on the road succumbing to death. But it's between the time that we're born and the time that we succumb to death, and what we do in between, and how we do things in between. That's really kind of like what seems to matter to life. But realistically, in a way, it kind of doesn't matter. There's so many different facets to life. Working, and then not just working, but then working for the man or the woman, for that matter. What some people would say, a slave to the system, and this and that, and maybe it's not so life fulfilling. Regardless of any of that, man, death seems to be a very prevalent facet of our lives, and I do mean that, death and our lives, and that's what binds us. Death is the real actual promise to life. A promise is a comfort to a fool, but if there's any truth to life, is that there will always be death, and death is peace, death is comfort, death is I don't know. I think personally, I think death really is paradise. You get a lot of people that have these like near-death experiences, quote unquote, and they saw paradise or this or that, and I mean, I don't know about any of y'all, but for me, paradise would be just consistent sleep and never ever having to wake up again. But then again, that's not the consistent daily reality of things, because that is not the way life is, and that is kind of a bit of a paradox. Yet, even though we have to live through life, the goal is actually paradise through death. And I think that's something that La Santísima Muerte kind of teaches us in her own right. And I think that goes along with saying, when it comes down to that, it doesn't even matter if she's an Aztec goddess or a Roman Catholic saint or Roman Catholicism or this or that. Because sometimes what La Santísima Muerte, when we look at her and her effigies and her icons and whatnot, we are stared back into the face of what, from childhood, going from Halloween and Disney cartoons and whatnot, and even up until now, we see skulls, and skulls represents death and the underworld and the afterlife and whatnot. And it's something that's very important to a lot of us. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I got a little lost in my whole thing. I got a little too deep into my own train of thought. But that's another important thing that maybe I can continue on with. The meditations of death. And what you just saw happen right now is, I think, what a lot of us go through, meditations. Sometimes we get really locked into a train of thought, and, we space out a little bit. But that's good. That means that we're truly thinking deep inside about something that matters to us. It's a moment of importance that maybe nobody else will ever get, and only you will understand, and there's nothing wrong with that. But meditations on death, and I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and entitle this video is Meditations on Death, because that's initially what started this video for me. Was I'm here at home by myself, up late at night on a weekend, cleaning and doing my own thing, and then it occurred to me, it's been a while since I've done a video on La Santísima Muerte, death, and the meditations of death, and in the same respect too, even in the flesh. Even though we're in the flesh, I'm in the flesh, here I am alone at home and cleaning and doing my own thing. But that's almost a mirror representation, a reflection of maybe that's what death could be like, even in the here and now in the flesh. Cleaning up, doing my own thing, listening to my own music. I'm in nobody's way, nobody's in my way, and I'm enjoying myself, and I'm in my own thoughts, and it's almost like a little peace of mind. So anyway, I feel like I'm rambling on, which I know I already am. But you know what? Yeah, meditations on this. I'm looking over here because I just noticed on the big screen over here. I turned around and Janelle Longoria is over here talking in mute on the TV. So I wonder what the heck she's talking about. So I'm probably gonna go and scoot that out because spiritual affirmations. So yeah, I'm gonna check that out. Anyways, Gordals, I hope y'all are doing good. I hope y'all are healthy. For any of you that are watching that may have possibly lost a loved one to COVID-19, my sincerest, condolences to you and your families. I hope you all are healthy. Keep on fighting the good, healthy fight. We're all here together. So keep up the positive vibes, all right? All right, Gardals, I'll catch you later, man. Have a good one.